cancer. When he was 13, his dad suddenly died of a heart attack. But Kermit got through it all. He conquered fears, doubts, reached out to family members and friends, and constantly explored new worlds and new sports. He finally lands here tonight at this moment. The doorstep of greatness and the fulfillment of dreams beyond what a modest, parentless child in Puerto Rico could ever dream. His moment has arrived. And the festive tone has started. The Mexican fight fans ready to rally for their man, the WBO champion of the world, Tony Margarito. Ring Magazine's #1 welterweight. ESPN.com, Dan Rayfield's second-rated welterweight. And a man who's 5-1 in world title fights. He also has faced heartbreak in his past. His dear brother was murdered by a Tijuana gang, and it happened the day before one of Tony's fights. He fought on and won. He says, I know that I'm underrated. He's the heaviest Mexican champion out there. And at times he's even criticized his promoters and his managers, feeling that those around him could have done a much better job in his career of making him a superstar. He could become one real soon. A win tonight against Cintron. And now this big money welterweight division opens up for Tony Margarito. The combined record of his last 5 opponents, stellar group he's been in with. Kermit Cintron's biggest weapon is his right hand, and he's coming off a 9-month layoff because of surgery needed on it. Does that alter the fight plan in any way, or is it still bombs away for Kermit, Teddy?
Well, #1 for Cintron, you want to stay undefeated, move a step closer to a title, time the uppercut. Margarito, he drops his hand to throw the uppercut. So as he does, you time him with either a straight right or a left hook, depending on which side he throws the uppercut. #2, don't half step it. Actually, in this case, don't half jab it. Get full extension on your left, or he will be able to time you with his right hand. #3, what's good for the goose, good for the gander. We talked about how you can time him when he throws the uppercut, but also when you are inside, you must not lay your head in the middle straight, or you will eat the uppercut instead of catching him.
And as for the champ, the fight plan for Tony Margarito.
For Margarito, to keep this title, #1, dip the shoulder to throw the uppercut. We were just talking about that on the other side. You have a habit of dropping your hand to throw that punch, and you expose yourself to get beat to the punch. Drop your shoulder down, not your hand. #2, don't square up. You sometimes allow your feet to get parallel and close. Keep your right foot back, don't let it fall in, or you will give too much punching area to the bigger banger, Cintron. And #3, right over the left. That would be your right hand over the jab. He has a habit of throwing only half a jab, we just talked about it, not fully extending it. That will allow you to get close enough to time him with a right as he begins his left.
For the official introductions of our world title main event, here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing red, white, and blue trunks, fighting out of Reading, Pennsylvania, by way of Carolina, Puerto Rico. He weighed in at a ready 146 1/2 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign to the ring with 24 wins, no losses, 22 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the WBO interim welterweight world champion, introducing the undefeated Kermit Killer Cintron. And his his opponent across the ring, the current defending world champion on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with silver trim, hailing from and representing Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. He weighed in at the welterweight limit of 147 pounds. His record stands at 30 wins, 4 losses, 21 wins, coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight he is making the 4th defense of his title. Here is the defending WBO welterweight champion of the world, introducing Antonio Tony Margarito. Once again, it's Kenny Bayless, our referee in charge, now to give instructions. 12 rounds of championship boxing scheduled.
Okay, gentlemen, trunks are good here, a little high, trunks are good here. Now guys, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want you to protect yourself at all times, keep the fight clean at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck, touch gloves, buenos suerte.
The long-standing boxing axiom, styles make fights, is true, but sometimes it's real simple, folks. Fighters can make fights too, and in the case of Margarito and Cintron, that's what we have. 2 fighters. Enjoy it while it lasts. The punching machine against the hardest puncher. Ring experience, Margarito has the edge. He's fought for 7 more years, over 100 more total rounds, and Kermit is dealing with the longest layoff of his career, some 279 days, Teddy.
Both of these guys similar physique-wise, big welterweights, good size, good wingspan. The difference, and there's a difference, Cintron's stronger, the better puncher. We know it's a big step up in class for Cintron, Margarito having fought the much better opposition. We also know that Margarito has been on the floor early in fights. He's gotten off the floor to win. That's the sign of a champion, but he's been on the floor early in fights. He's got to be alert with Cintron, who's a power puncher, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cintron is aware of that knowledge. I'm sure he is. If he doesn't look to start a little fast, maybe see if he can take advantage of Margarito, where he's been vulnerable early on.
That was what everybody talked about. Tried to come with the right hand. Exchange there, wins with the body, traded left.
Who will use their size better? That, I think, is a question that will go a long way in determining who wins this fight. Both great size, we just said it, as welterweights. Who's going to use that reach? Who's going to control that range?
At one point in his career, Antonio Margarito was a sparring partner for Oscar De La Hoya. Now he would be big trouble for Oscar if they were to ever meet.
As you said very well, Joe, one of the big differences in the punch stats, the ratio of punches. Margarito very high in that area.
Volume guy.
But Cintron makes up for it with quality, but most importantly, with effect. He punches with power. He looks to knock you out.
Well, he's done it 22 times in 24 fights. And if you recall what he did last summer against Teddy Reed, then you know what he's capable of.
But
Margarito returns fire to the body with a right hand.
A lot to overcome for Cintron. Stepping up in class. Has not fought the opposition that Margarito has fought, and he's coming off 9 months inactivity and right hand surgery. A heck of a time to choose to step up in class, coming off of inactivity and hand surgery. We'll see if it affects Cintron. If it does, it'll be as the fight goes on and the experience of Margarito and the inexperience of Cintron starts to lay its head, starts to show.
Doubles up the jab. Margarito fires off a right. Coming to the end of round 1, scheduled for 12 for the title. In round number 1, Cintron was only 3 of 39 on his jabs. Margarito just 2 of 31. In fact, the percentages very low for both men. Cintron only landing 14% of his punches. Margarito landing only 13%. 8-6 edge for Cintron.
Cintron has the power, but that, as we know, has no value if you don't have a way of getting it to the target. And the opportunities to get it to the target with Margarito is sometimes Margarito will get there into that punching area. He's starting to get there now in what I call that in-between zone, that in-between land, that danger zone, where he's not all the way in, he's not all the way out.
But he's able to do his thing.
But sometimes he also allows you to do your thing.
That's right, because he's in your range at the end of your...
And him doing his thing will not hurt Cintron as much as Cintron doing his thing, because Cintron has the power. So Margarito sometimes right there in that no man's land, he'll stand tall every once in a while. And when he stands tall in that punching area, he can be vulnerable. He's got to get all the way in or all the way out.
Combination from Margarito moments ago. He finished it with a left hand to the body and got a slight warning from Kenny Bayless to get it up. Tries to come over the top with a right hand.
Both guys trying to use their size that we talked about it. And make no doubt about it. They both have great sizes. We've said 2 or 3 times already for welterweights. They could easily be mistaken for middleweights. They're both trying to use their jab, establish range, distance, and keep the other guy at the end of the punches, as Margarito is doing right now to Cintron.
Another nice combination from Tony Margarito. Now here comes Kermit on the inside. He put a right hand, short right hand to the head of Margarito. Now they're swinging away.
That's what Cintron wants. He wants a little havoc. He's a less experienced guy. He doesn't want things to go stable necessarily. He wants to have a chance to do what he does, show the power. And just seems a little unsteady, a little choppy. He's got a better shot to show that.
Don't forget, the rap on Margarito is that he's a slow starter. Teddy, you were saying we'll see if Cintron can take advantage of that early. Hasn't necessarily happened. In fact, here in this second round, maybe a glimpse that Margarito may start sooner than he typically does.
Well, Margarito will give up his height. It doesn't take him long to do that. He's a fighter, and he shows that. He'll come in, even though he can stay outside with that wingspan, he'll come in. When he comes in, that's where he could be vulnerable, especially if he gets too close when he throws that jab. He could be vulnerable with the right hand.
Stop! Stop! Step back.
Nation on him.
Getting full extension on his punches, that's good when you got a long wingspan like Margarito has. You want to keep your man, in this case, Cintron, at the end of your punches. But there, Margarito gets a little too close, allows Cintron to get into that punching range. The good news is that Cintron was able to get that punching range and be able to counter a little bit and land a little bit. Maybe the bad news for Cintron is that Margarito handled the power very well.
Cintron in the red, white, and blue. Tony Margarito, the world champ, in the black and silver. Joe Tessitore, Teddy Atlas, and Jeremy Schaap with you from Caesar's Palace, the Roman Plaza. You know, after a lukewarm punch totals in the first round, pace picked up a bit in the second round. Margarito totaled 87 punches thrown, only landed 12. Cintron was 13 of 79. Now measuring with that left, comes with the right, tries to go to the body with the left. Sugar Ray Leonard has been our guest analyst all night long. Ray, your insights early on here with Cintron and Margarito, please.
Well, right now I see that Margarito is starting to lay the groundwork. He's really starting to get his jab out there, and he's putting the combinations together quite well. Cintron is still trying to find his way. I think he's trying to land that big punch, a right hand of his, but it has not found his target too many times.
Hey, Ray, it's Teddy here. Being that Cintron's a younger guy, the guy without the experience stepping up here, is it good for him that it's been a slow pace so far so he can get his feet under him a little bit?
I think it should be faster, Teddy. I think being a younger fighter, the more aggressive fighter with the power, I think he should be a little more aggressive.
But is it good in one part that he's maybe able to get over the shakes? You know, that he's just able to get his bearings and settle down and maybe start to pick it up a little bit?
But, you know, surprisingly, Teddy, he seems very poised to be, you know, that young and that inexperienced. He's on his own.
Yes, he does. Maybe one of the reasons he's poised is he's been able to get a little bit of a landscape that's been calm, where he's been able to kind of get his legs under him a little bit.
Well, he's taking a big step here now. I tell you what, he has to prove himself.
Sugar Ray will catch up with you down the road. Round number 3 scheduled for 12.
You know, I got to give Margarito, or actually Cintron, a little credit here. Right now, he's not just behaving like a puncher. That's why he's doing well.
Oh, Margarito gets him that time, Teddy.
Yeah, but Margarito's doing well right now, but he's in that punching area when he's doing it. He cannot get lax or careless, and there's a bad cut over the right eye
Exchange, Teddy.
of Cintron.
Are they Kenny Bayless is bringing him right over to Dr. Margaret Goodman. That cut was caused by a punch, and it just started spurting blood.
Well, it's difficult enough stepping up in class the way Cintron is in this spot with an experienced guy like Margarito who's been there before. Now add to the equation that he's cut. A lot to ask for the 25-year-old Cintron. But the one good thing in his favor, he's got that eraser. He's got power.
So a bad cut over the right eye opened up here in round number 3. Good combination from Tony Margarito. And Cintron has an uphill battle ahead of him. Sid Brumback handling the cuts in the corner.
You're leaning over too much inside, you hear me? You gotta step around.
Take the mouthpiece, gentlemen. Take the mouthpiece, thank you. It's fine.
You gotta step around. You gotta pump the jab, you hear me? Back that jab up. Back him up with the jab. Let's see the cut.
Let that right hand.
Teddy, the attack that opened up the cut from Antonio Margarito coming in on Kermit Cintron.
Margarito, an offensive fighter. Cintron, an explosive one. Margarito does it in numbers, up and down, combinations. Moves his hands around and he creates openings. He doesn't wait for them. Again, the uppercut in the middle and then outside with the right hand. And we talked about in the tips, Cintron could be vulnerable to that uppercut because he lays his head right in the middle. Laid his head in the middle. Margarito knew what to do.
Tony Margarito had a 17-8 edge in power connects in that 3rd round. 4 of them came on that combination, and the right eye is cut for Kermit Cintron. Round 4, scheduled for 12. Kermit has the power. He can end the fight with one punch. Margarito, lots of volume, a busy boxer-puncher. You saw the punch totals. Margarito was 18 of 69 in that last round. He was 17 of 51 on his power connects. A drizzle here at Caesar's Palace. It started when they walked out for this main event. There's a canopy over the ring. The crowd isn't going anywhere. Not with this kind of action and a world title on the line.
Even with that good last round for Margarito, you see the experience, the championship experience and smartness. He's not getting careless. He respects Cintron. He knows that he has power. He knows his opponent.
Body shot with the right and then goes to the side of the head with the same hand. Now he digs to the body with the left and tries to put a combination together with Cintron against the ropes.
And right now, Margarito doing it in a very workmanlike fashion. He's doing it with technique, and he's doing it with amounts of punches, which we expected. Put them together, putting Cintron down.
Antonio Margarito just swarms him here in the 4th round, and Kermit Cintron is down on the canvas with still over a minute to go here in round number 4.
Cintron's going to need now that power, and he's going to need a little recklessness from Margarito to turn this fight around.
The champ comes flying in. Cintron hanging on. Down to the canvas again. Being scored a knockdown.
You know, you got a fighter with Margarito, 11 years pro experience. Cintron, 4.5. It's showing.
There's no 3 knockdown rule. Unified rules, world title on the line. There's a right hand by Cintron. Maybe his only hope at this point, but he needs to survive these last 30 seconds.
That is a real problem now, because with the lack of experience, when you're a fighter like Cintron, and you know that you have the power advantage, and that's what you depend on, and that hasn't worked, and that's all you have. You have nothing to fall back on. No experience at this level to say, I can pull myself through. Tough spot right now.
It is Cintron. What a tough spot he's in.
Margarito's helping him a little bit by not going downstairs. Not going to the body and not freezing Cintron. Help Cintron survive a little bit that round. Margarito would have served himself a little better by going downstairs.
Give me some legs, okay? You hear me? I need some legs. Deep breath. Listen, it ain't over till it's over, baby. All right? All right? It ain't over till it's over. You're looping your right hand too much. I need the jab. I need to back him up with the jab.
Fourth round spectacular for Tony.
Punch numbers, but not just punch numbers. Quality punches and aim punches, selective punches to the right places. That's what an experience of Margarito showed you right there.
Second knockdown that time as Cintron, falling to the side, was hanging on, trying not to hit the canvas, ruled the knockdown. So 2 knockdowns scored in a big fourth round for the WBO champion of the world, Antonio Margarito. Well, if ever there's a time where Kermit Cintron needs to rely on his power, the time is now. The undefeated welterweight, viewed as one of the biggest punchers pound for pound in the sport today, taking on a man who many says may be the most underrated fighter in the sport today. Cintron's jab, only 8 of 131 for 6% as we start up this 5th round. Puts a right hand together with an uppercut, and what that does is it brings on a little something more from Tony Margarito.
Come on, Kermit.
Again, it's not just the pure amount of punches by Margarito. It's that he's been accurate and that he's placed them well. He's been good with his selection of punches, Joe. He's shown a nice repertoire.
What does that tell you with Kermit Cintron hugging around the waist at that moment, Eddie?
He's desperate and he's trying to save some time. He's desperate. He's trying. It's one of 2 things. He's trying to buy some time, which he needs to get a chance to recover, to get his bearings, get his head together. Or if it continues, it might be a guy breaking down, a young guy panicking in this kind of fight.
He is not steady on his feet, and now he's on a knee.
No,
he hasn't been steady for a good minute and a half of this 5th round.
And you know what, Joe? It's not just the physical damage, it's the body language. Look at it. He's not here.
You want to fight?
He's been asked the right question by a good referee right there. Because the body language would beg you, not just the physical action, but the body language would beg you to ask that question. Right now, Cintron looks to me like a kamikaze guy. He's looking to get it over with.
This is going to be the longest minute of his life here in this 5th round, if he can survive it at all.
He's not only hurt, he's badly discouraged. Look at the way he's looking over his corner. He wants his corner.
That's it, Teddy.
He wanted his corner. He was looking over. You saw the body language. He was looking over at the corner, looking for intervention, looking for help, saying, I can't handle this. I'm not ready for this tonight. Help me. And his corner, they helped him.
He's breaking down in tears.
And you saw it happening.
Hold of Marshall Kaufman, who's been like a father to him. 24-0 with 22 knockouts as they entered the biggest fight of their lives. But Antonio Margarito was just too much on this very special evening.
Well, we talked about these guys being offensive fighters. There was only one who got his offense off, and that was Margarito. These guys were gunslingers coming to a match. You know, you could have said at the top, Cintron had the 357 Magnum, but Margarito had the longer clip. You know, he might have had a 38, but it had a lot of shots in there and a lot of different shots, and he used all of them.
The cut on the eye came in the 3rd round. Then he went down twice in the 4th round. And then 2 more times in the 5th round. He had never steadied himself. A courageous effort just to stay with it. But Antonio Margarito, the champion of the world, was sensational. Let's look at the first knockdown that was scored from Margarito, Teddy.
As we show you the knockdown there, nothing really clean landed. That's why I use the words I use, that not just physically he's been hurt, but psychologically, emotionally, mentally, he was starting to be really broken down, discouraged, separated from himself. He was starting to be demoted to the kind of guy that he didn't want to be. And again, there's Cintron being desperate, throwing desperate punches, falling in, and again, not holding himself up. Showing the look of a guy that's really lost, a guy that really doesn't believe that he has a chance. And when he looked at the corner understood that, they read that, and they saved him.
Let's send it up to the ring to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 12 seconds in round number 5. Our referee in charge, Kenny Bayless, recognizes the corner. Upon their suggestion, he stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout, and he is still the WBO welterweight